Okay, welcome back. As you can see, we're still working on our Cancer Awareness Mustang 2010 Ford Shelby GT500. We're in a home stretch. As you can see here, put this on. As you can see here, we got the sub-assemblies all done, the chassis done, all painted up, detailed. The interior also done, painted, detailed. Pretty happy with this. Very happy with it. Engine compartment also detailed up. No wiring. That's okay. It's already busy as it is, so I'm not too worried about it. The body is painted. I'm not sure. I'm at a point where it's a little rough. You know, I've never gotten a good deep shine on my cars, but it's a little rough. I'm contemplating whether I should try doing a clear coat over top of it to smooth it out, and I have a feeling if I do, I'll snarf the whole thing. But I have to think about that. But right now, that's where we are. But before I do that, I want to put the decals on it first. Put the decals, and this way, if I do seal it, it'll seal in the decals. So that's where this is. I got to detail the headliner also. It's a light gray, like a. It's too light. I need to darken that up. So I'm going to repaint the headliner, which also means I have to repaint these posts right here, both of these, so it matches. But that's okay. It's busy work, really. The spoiler has been painted, ready to go back on. I don't want to do that until the stripes are on. Mirrors, they're all done. Also, you can see I got the mirrors in place, painted, looking pretty good. I think I'm quite pleased. The hood, I didn't put the insert in yet because I don't want to do that until after I decal it and do the seal coat. So, also, if I didn't show this already, I flocked the inside of the hood, so it looks like the insulation on the inside of the hood. I thought that was a pretty neat idea. I mean, it's stupid, but I just thought it was a funny touch. I haven't seen anybody do that yet. Flock interiors and everything? Sure. Flock a hood? Nah, I haven't seen that yet. Maybe I'll set a trend. Okay, hang on, be right back. Okay, so we started detailing the body with decals. Alright, I tell you, I have to admit, I'm happy that I chose the silver with the pink as opposed to the white. Either would have gone, but I just think the silver really stands out. Looks pretty cool. But of course, like with every build, especially right now, I'm having a traumatic experience with it. And the one for this one is the decals are the decals on here are probably good quality. I haven't heard anybody talk bad about them. But what's happening again is probably my own fault, and that is the decals are sticking in place as soon as they go down. You can see here with this side of the rocker stripe, I was trying to fight it, and it got snarfed at the end. I just couldn't fix it. I spent way too much time with this, trying to position it and removing, putting it back on, removing, and it finally just folded over on itself. I couldn't break it apart. I just figured that putting it on this way was better than removing it altogether. So again, that's what it is. Also on the back, the Shelby logo across here, when I got it, the best I could get it was here, and I was gonna move it up, and it just locked in place. It wouldn't go. And I'm thinking, again, this is present day now when you're watching this, that this happened. The painting of this body was done years ago, and it's been sitting. So my guess is that as shiny as it is, it doesn't have really a gloss coat. It's using the glossiness of the nail polish itself. So I probably either forgot that I didn't gloss it, or I'm not sure. But in hindsight, I probably should have glossed it again and get a good coat of gloss on it before I put the decals on it. But my goal was, again, to get the decals on and then gloss and lock them in. But I probably should have put a coat first, and maybe that would have fixed my issue. But it is what it is. It's not all that noticeable. So I'm gonna have to live with it. But overall, pretty cool. The pink with the silver looks pretty freaking skippy. Welcome back to Dirk's Pneumophiles. Today we're going to be looking at the final for our entry in the Cancer Awareness Group build. As you may remember, for those that followed along from the beginning, I started this way back in 2014, and it was a shelf queen for quite a few years. And then in, I think it was 2018 or 2019, the annual Cancer Awareness Group build came along, and I picked it up and I was going to start it again, but it quickly fell to the wayside again. So now fast forward to 2020, and I picked it up again, and this time I finished. Third time's a charm, I finished it. So here is our entry. So here she is, our Mustang Shelby 2010. It was a cool car, fun build. I'm very, very pleased with the overall outcome of the build. I had some issues along the way, of course. What builds of mine don't have issues? The most notable one that we talked about earlier already was the decals, that I snarfed the decals. I think it was because I forgot to, or I felt that it was already glossy enough that I didn't need to put a gloss coat on it first, which I learned I should. As soon as I put the decals on, they cinched right in, and they fought me if I needed to adjust them. So, you know, we have the screw up over here on this lower end of the quarter panel, and the Shelby logo that goes across the top right under the third eye stoplight. The body was painted in nail polish, which I was pretty pleased with the outcome of that. It's not perfect, but none of my builds are perfect when it comes to my paint jobs. I just haven't gotten there yet. But, you know, it's pretty cool otherwise. Let's see, what else? Oh, we lowered the front end a scooch, so now it has a nice tight gap between the tire and the upper fender. Another thing we did, which was a first for me, is we flocked underneath the hood, so it's got the insulation there that all the new cars have for sound deadening and everything. So that was kind of cool. You can see here, you've seen it all before, but here's the engine bay, nicely detailed, I think. Of its own, nothing that I did that makes it stand out to be any better, other than really just the painting. I mean, it comes with decals for it, which I didn't put the decals on the valve covers because it's already written there. So I just didn't think it would add anything by putting a decal over it. So it is what it is. But you know, there's all kinds of decals that it adds to it, for like the oil filter, which you could see there. Yeah, not really. The oil cover gets a decal. I put one on the on here. The fan shroud has got a decal on it, stuff like that. I could have put more, but they were so frickin' tiny that it just didn't pay to do it, to be honest with you. But otherwise, yeah, you know, the decal set came with lots of decals, so it was really cool. I mean, it came with 2 stripe sets, so I could do either silver or white. I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't realize at first, and I already painted, was the marker lights I painted. The third eye I painted when I could have used a decal. It looks cattywampus now. The F. The decals for the hubs of the rims are pretty cool. It even had decals for the fender badges, but of course it also had the chrome piece, which gives it more of a more accurate 3D effect. So that's cool. I had a heart-stopping moment with that. When it's connected to the tree, the way it's molded, it actually got a piece on the back side to hold it to the tree. So if you cut it, it doesn't lay flat. It leaves part of the gate, the sprue gate, on the back of the emblem, which this is very tiny. So it required filing with a diamond file is what I used very carefully to get that flat and cleaning it up, which again, trying to hold this down while doing that is very, very difficult. At least for my ham hock hands it is. But anyway, so doing that, I was cleaning it up, and won't you know, it took a flight. I guess I was holding it with my X-Acto knife and then using a file. And my knife slipped, the piece went flying. You know, you heard that as the knife hit my cutting mat, you heard, and it flew across somewhere, and I heard a tink as it hit my computer monitor, which sits next to my desk, and I thought, fudge. It's lost. Now I have to go and use the decals, which are cool, but I wanted the 3D effect of the actual part. Wouldn't you know, I actually found the emblem. I did. I couldn't believe it. I found it sitting on my keyboard, so I was able to recover it, glue it in place. So that's those. There's a third one that sits here on the grill, which is kind of cool. Okay. You'll notice the hood's got a little pop-up on it. Now that is something that happened later, and what the caveat to that was these headlight covers. Okay, I had two issues with these. First one I put on, not a problem. Second one, when I went to put it on, it fogged. So I had to clean it up, which required using my micro mesh set. If you guys don't have one, you should look into getting the micro mesh set. I mean, I've got 6 different levels and a paste that comes with it in order to do it, and it's saved my ass many times. So, you know, it's pretty cool here actually. This is actually the kit that I got. I actually found this in my parents' basement. It was my father's. So I've been using it, and it just works phenomenal. Like I said, it comes with 6 different pads like this. I cut them off into strips about, maybe a 1/2 inch wide, and I just use them. I've had this for about 5 years. I'm still on the first set of each. So it works really well, and it lasts forever. So yeah, it's a good kit to get if you can, or something similar, because this is pretty old. So I was able to fix the lenses, and then when I put the lenses in, even though they're resting on the bumper, they still stick up a little bit, and when I went to put the hood on, it kind of left the hood, cracked open a bit. To try to fix it, what I ended up doing, taking my diamond file again, trying to be careful because these lenses were such a pain in the tuchus. I filed down the tops and I got it a little lower, but not as much as I want, but it's good enough. If I went any more, you'd notice a step in the lens, and I just didn't want to do that. So, got to give one end to get the other, I guess. The other cool thing is license plate. Okay, this is the New Jersey cancer plate. Okay. I was able to download this, and I was able to modify it. So I was able to download, back up a second. There's a website out there called acme.com license maker. Acme.com license maker. I'll put a link here for you. And it allows you to make all kinds of plates, all kinds of years of plates from all the 50 states and some of the outlining countries and stuff like that. And it happened to have the New Jersey cancer plate, and then I just typed in hope to make a custom plate, printed it out, let me rephrase that. I saved the image. I was having lots of trouble printing license plates. I couldn't get anything to print properly for it, so I actually reached out to a fellow modeler, Chris Cortell. He offered to make them for me, so I sent him my files, and he printed them out and sent them to me. So I just think that's a nice touch. So we got the cancer awareness plate and the modified to say hope on it. That was cool. Another thing, if you ever build this, I thought this was odd, and it didn't come. See, I don't really inspect every fraction of the kit before I build it, so I kind of find things as I go along. And that is the tail lights. Tail lights have these nice tail light buckets in there. And I detailed them up. I painted them, put clear red. They were chrome, I think. I painted clear red in them and everything. It's all good. And then later I find out there's covers. So I had to, the covers were clear. So I had to paint the covers in clear red. A little accent with the silver there. But my point is once they were in place, you couldn't see the detail behind them of the headlight buckets, the taillight buckets. So it's kind of frustrating. They actually have a part with some really nice detail, and you can't see it. So that was kind of silly. Let's see what else. I think that's really it. It's a very cool car. It took a lot of time for me, but really it went together very well. I have no real complaints about it. Just the issues that I spoke of, but probably most of those are my own issues, not the kit itself. So, that's it. I look forward to actually building another one, and I have one in mind that I might be doing relatively soon, so we'll have to see what happens. But anyway, guys, thanks for taking the time to watch my build. Thank you to those that followed along and commented along the way. I appreciate it. And until next time, guys, be strong.